In nearly every ancient civilization, there are stories of beings that were more than human. Giants, demigods, titans. They appear in Sumerian Greek, Hebrew, Hindu, and even Native American lore. And in the Bible, they are known by one name, Nephilim. According to Genesis 6, they were the offspring of the sons of God and the daughters of men. These hybrids were mighty, renowned, and utterly corrupt. God sends the flood not just to cleanse sin, but to reset creation itself. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward. Genesis 6:4. Wait, what does also afterward mean? This is the doorway into a mystery far deeper than mythology, a mystery of genetics, hybrids, and a war for the human genome. In this episode, we uncover the possibility that the Nephilim never truly vanished. They went underground, not into caves, but into bloodlines. The Book of Enoch expands Genesis 6. It describes how a group of 200 watchers descended to Mount Hermon. They didn't just teach humans how to make weapons and makeup. They corrupted the very structure of humanity. They took wives for themselves, and they began to go into them and to defile themselves with them. Enoch 7:1-2, the result. The Nephilim giants, massive in stature, violent in behavior, but also unnatural. They were not just physically different, they were genetically incompatible with God's original design. The flood then becomes not just a judgment of sin, but a genetic sterilization event. God resets the human line. Noah, perfect in his generations, is chosen. The implication, his DNA was untainted. So the question becomes, if Nephilim walk the earth again, afterward, how? The post-flood world contains names that echo the pre-flood giants Anakim, Rephaim, Zamzumim, Emim. In Numbers 13:33, Israelite spies report, "We saw the Nephilim there, and we seem like grasshoppers in our own eyes." If the flood wiped out the Nephilim, how are they back? One theory, the Watchers returned. Another, their genetic legacy survived, hidden in a few bloodlines. Some ancient Jewish traditions suggest that Ham's wife may have carried Nephilim DNA, which passed through into Canaanite tribes. The Bible becomes a chronicle of Israel, not just fighting tribes, but fighting corrupted bloodlines. The wars in Canaan are not just geopolitical, they are biological warfare. Now let's fast forward. In medieval Europe, royal families prided themselves on divine blood, the right to rule by birth. But what if that wasn't just political? From Egyptian pharaohs to Merovingian kings, myths of half-divine rulers persist. The idea of serpent bloodlines or starseed lineage appears across cultures. And then there's the question of Rh-negative blood, a rare type, globally scattered, immune to certain diseases, and genetically anomalous. Some theorists suggest Rh negativity may trace back to non-human admixture. Not aliens in the sci-fi sense, but Nephilim remnants. Even modern elite families have interwoven lineages, preserving a narrow pool of genetic heritage. Is it tradition or genetic strategy? Today, we have CRISPR, gene editing, synthetic embryos, human-animal chimeras in research labs. The forbidden knowledge the Watchers once gave us, we're rediscovering it. In 2019, Chinese scientists edited human embryos to resist HIV. The result? The children not only had edited immunity, they showed increased brain development. In labs across the world, scientists are creating hybrid embryos, crosses between humans and apes, pigs, even synthetic organisms. This isn't sci-fi, it's peer-reviewed. Are we repeating Genesis 6? Are we once again blurring the boundary between human and other? Modern UFO abduction reports contain a strange common thread: reproductive experiments. Abductees often describe missing time, strange pregnancies, encounters with hybrid children. Dr. David Jacobs, a professor of history turned UFO researcher, documented dozens of cases where women reported forced impregnation and later mysterious removal. These aren't just psychological anomalies. Medical exams confirm scarring, hormonal shifts, and fertility abnormalities. Why the obsession with human reproduction? Because if modern Nephilim exist, they're not giant warriors. They are genetically engineered hybrids blending in, manipulating silently. The Watchers learned from the flood. This time, the corruption must be subtle. Jesus says, "As it was in the days of Noah, so it will be at the coming of the Son of Man." Matthew 24:37. We often interpret this morally violence, corruption, apathy. But what if it's deeper? What if the days of Noah were marked not just by sin, but by genetic pollution? What if the final judgment will come not because of wars or economic collapse, but because we once again tamper with creation? Today we can edit embryos, choose eye color, boost intelligence, splice species. We are making our own Nephilim, and we call it progress. This war isn't fought with bombs, it's fought in biology labs, in fertility clinics, in elite family trees, in DNA registries. Governments now collect genomic data at scale. Why? For health, for control, or for something older. What if someone is tracking bloodlines? What if the battle between heaven and earth has shifted from swords to sequences? And what if the blood of the Nephilim is not extinct but awakening? The Bible is full of a bloodline obsession, genealogies, tribes, purity. Why? Because in God's system, blood is identity. Cain and Abel, Isaac and Ishmael, Jacob and Esau, Jesus and the line of David. Satan doesn't need to conquer the world. He just needs to corrupt the seed. The Watchers failed with brute force. This time, it's gene force. So ask yourself, when science talks about designer babies, when AI suggests gene editing for IQ, when elites marry into elites, are we still just playing with science, or are we playing God?